There we go. Oh, keep me warm. Let's have a little coffee and chill for a little bit and all this stuff here. And a little shebang. Oh, well, man, probably not going to be doing these as much anymore at this point. So, make these probably just more sparser and few in between. And so I don't have to deal with fucking burnout or anything like that. Yes. Zukov. Hey, puppy. Is it a dog? Is that Bluetooth phone? Yeah. Hey. There we go. Jeez. How many times I have to press you? Anyway. As soon as I shrink up this coffee, I'm pretty much going to immediately go into some ciders. Kind of just those fucking days for me. At this point. So. Ay. But mainly just wanted to be on here just a vent for a little bit more than anything. Mainly just cause like getting fucking just like done with just really two things. Mainly just like because of like, you know, it's 2024 elections, politics, you know, come back around and everyone's getting all fuckity uplifted about it or upward about it and investing into it. So everyone's either going to be on Team Red or Team Blue again, and thus, you know, fucking having people blindly trusting the institutions and the system. And then you have like the exact opposite, where people are so fucking apathetic and have a sense of learned helplessness that like literally nothing will ever fucking work, and that, you know, and that anything that is proposed needs to be talked down and just undermined, if anything. I'm just getting sick of it, dude. Too tired for a shit. Too young for a shit. And I'm already fucking tired like an old man. Now I grow weary of it. And if anything, it's more or less, you know, just does like more pushing away more than anything. So it's just like, how in the fuck do you like, you know, do advocacy and shit without, you know, being like a total dick? Because, like, it's essentially, it's like how I feel at this point. It's like you have to be a fucking asshole or a dick to actually get your fucking point. But then you lose friends, and then you lose, like, you know, fucking, you know, people wanting to listen to shit. So it's like, what the fuck do you do there? Just be complacent? Because I sure shit ain't gonna accept that. Too much of a fucking rebel for it. So. That's like the first sitting from last night. Damn. That's a fatty. Jesus. Alright, fucking yeah. But anyway. As I say. Mainly with all the vent and shit. Just. Also, just fucking like. Severely, like, just sad and disappointed with one of my friends and shit. Because I fucking, want to, like, try to uplift, my buddy. And try to be like, hey, quit being so down on yourself and on, like, everything around you. And and just, like, this idea that, like, things just simply can't get better. And at that point, it was just, like, a total push away.
Right.
Ah, what the fuck? Fuck off YouTube. There we go. And with that, it's just like pretty much like became like a total full-on like just like utter push away essentially, where it's just like, oh, I guess like I'm too much of a downer essentially, so let me just like block you and then fucking like just like totally cut off like any form of communication without even like an ability to have like a back and forth or anything. So it's just like now I especially feel like a dick, because kind of am. I mean, I ain't gonna be fucking being around the bush about that. I'm definitely a dick and asshole at times, and it's just like that ended up being like, I guess, fucking the one straw that broke the camel's back essentially. Because I feel like I've always been like at least try to be charitable, try to like go out with good faith on these things, but if anything, try to be honest, and I'll be at times like that blunt as fuck, but not everyone could take that, I guess, even though sometimes it's what they fucking need. It's not out of like malice, like, because honestly that's just like how really I've come to terms of how to like deal with shit. It's not even how I was necessarily raised. It's just that there's a certain point where it's like, alright, like people need to like get a little fire in their fucking ass, and someone needs to just like not like berate, but like fucking like aggressively let them know a little bit, be like, yo, like, I mean, what the fuck. I mean, it's never out of like malice or contempt or anything, but still. Feels like a little bit of bullshit, mainly just because I'm not trying to be the dick, but even though I can be. But either way, it's just, it's just me all being all fucking and all like just angsty and melancholy. And Zukov, can you chill out, please? Can you chill with your damn boofing? You damn mutt. You ridiculous boy. Man, oh man. What a crazy dog. There. Let me have a couple little tunes up and stuff. Bada boom. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. Dude. Really? Fucking dog. Yeah. Oh man, like this, general, like, shit I'm feeling has just really been grinding my kind of gears a little bit. Predominantly, mainly just about, like, the general zeitgeist stuff, like, the social, like, kind of like, the social political sphere about it. Predominantly just because, like, there's like this major fucking energy And I think it's most certainly there, where there are people that are aware. There are people that recognize that they're getting fucked and boned in one way, shape, or form. But there's like another caveat of like a sense of like learned helplessness, or like a sense of like learned complacency, where it's like, well, just because I advocate, let's say, I don't know, like Medicare for all, or like aggressive push towards unions and shit like that. And it's like, well, because it ain't on the political menu, or just not possible or feasible, we just can't do it. Even though these are practical, realistic solutions that fucking work in literally everywhere else. But somehow it just can't, it's just impossible here. It's like, what is this learned, helpless, like, complacent bullshit? It's like this idea that, like, so many different things that, like, pretty much everywhere else can fucking do is, like, just unachievable. It just simply can't fucking be done. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, come on. It's like, there was not even, like, when was it? Like, 2019, like, just after 2020, the pandemic or some shit, there was, like, that whole fucking, like, gigantic push for Medicare for all. And then, like, everyone freaked the fuck out, like, saying that, oh, this is, not even, like, genuine because there was, like, some right-wingers there or something like that. I don't even fucking know. Like, just because there's, like, some people, like, Jimmy Dore, or, like, a few other dipshits, that were a part of that march, or a part of that, like, push, doesn't even, make, the idea, any less important, or any less, like, of a need. And if anything, that makes it more important to do that shit, to do a, like, a forced Medicare for all thing, and do rallies and march for that shit. Like, I mean, to undermine that shit is, to essentially allow the complacency and allow the continuation of the bullshit that is going on. So, what the fuck? Like, are we just not going to, like, aggressively try to push for a thing, or are we just, like, that complacent about shit? Because, like, fuck. I mean, even in my own workplace sometimes, I mean, it's just like, there was, like, a lot of definite, like, sense of union advocacy when, like, the contracts being pushed through now, but now that, like, that's all kind of been said and done, and we're on to, like, the, second year about, going on with the contractor shit, well, about a year or so going in, and, like, I mean, there's already, like, kind of a sense of disenfranchisement with that already, just because, like, and to some extent union dues have increased a little bit, which I don't know about how much. I haven't grabbed my check yet today to find out, and which, to me, I don't care. But to pretty much, I guess, everybody else, that does matter a shitload. On top of, like, at least our local rep not exactly doing much when it comes to showing up, which definitely does not help with, keeping people, like, morale up or boosted when it comes to the idea of the union and shit. Even for me, frankly, because I got shit that I want to get resolved or talk about, with them and shit, but hard to when they're not there all the time. Dude, hey! And shit like that does, get disheartening, because, like, it's like, as much as you advocate, people are gonna be like, well, I mean, that happens sometimes. Dude, Sukov, bro! Frickin' dog. Did you get over here? Bruh. Doggo. Come here. Seriously? Hey. Oi. Hey, little pup. Hey. There you go. silly ass little dog. Jeez Louise. What a goof. Alright, shit's dogging on my goat. Just gonna let this just be like a little venturonies right now. What else is getting my goat? My friend worked a 14-hour shift today. Okay, well that's getting my goat right there. Oh yeah, like, you know, having it's just like, you know, 14-hour work shifts are like, you know, basically, you know, more and more commonly becoming a thing. Great. Okay. Is like one of my homies here or something? Why in the fuck? Alright, hold on. Yo, bruh. Hey! Okay, yo! Yo, you chill the fuck out. Boy. It's just him. Oh my god. Zukov, it was literally just my damn dad. I'm like, oh my god. Fucking mutt. But anyway, it's just like, I mean, this is like, you know, I guess, you know, ties into my, like, you know, thing about the whole union shit. It's just like, you got, like, this whole, like, you know, disenfranchisement and more, like, extraction, you know, towards the workers where they get paid less, you know, have to work endlessly a lot more and shit. And, you know, there's, like, this also, at the same time, various different, like, worker divides and shit. Including when it comes to things like, you know, union efforts and stuff. And, like, I mean, you know, like, at least when it comes to, like, my, you know, friend working the 14-hour day and shit, it's like, it's not even against it, but, or at least, you know, when it comes to unions and stuff, but he just, you know, isn't somebody who's just gonna go out of his way to fucking push for it. Because at least in his mind, it's like, well, I need the hours because I need the money, so it's like, well, union will make sure you get more fucking money and, you know, have to work less, you know, while still getting more in your fucking paycheck, like, Jesus Christ. I mean, fuck. At least if it's that logic alone. Plus also at least just the guaranteed benefits too. And plus at least, you know, from, you know, all things considered, like, his work isn't even like that fucking difficult and shit, but like, I mean, especially if you have to like do like 10 plus fucking hours of just like, you know, working at a gas station, yeah, that's gonna fucking like, you know, be draining. I can't even imagine doing 10 hours at a, you know, my shit, you know, at a fucking deli at a grocery store like that, you know, doing 10 hours of that would just fucking, oh my god, that would probably destroy me. I've done that a couple times before, and it's horrible. But, I mean, if there's at least, you know, some definite positive about these type of things, though, is that there is at least, like, you know, just more of this energy going, you know, towards being, you know, where at least, you know, people, you know, to some extent, even if there isn't necessarily, like, a union in place, you know, sticking up and fighting for their own rights and shit. Not just on this front, either, but just in kind of broadly in general. Especially when it comes to, like, different social views, too. Which is why, you know, like, I just get so fucking annoyed with, like, either learned helplessness / complacency, or just a sense of, like, you know, oh, we have to just trust the institutions, or just, you know, like, think up of some idea that, like, pragmatically, the other team is better because they're not those fuckers. It's like, does it really matter that much when they ain't doing fuck all, you know, to, like, do anything besides just, like, hijack, you know, like, LGBT issues, workers' issues, and shit like that? I mean, like, because really that's what it is. The whole argument of, like, well, at least the other, you know, the Democrats or the Republicans thing is literally just Democrats just hijacking these issues and not doing fuck one about it. They're just like, well, we're not them, so, yeah. It's like, well, you gonna do anything to protect us or anything? Nah, we're just not those guys. Thanks. What a great fucking, like, you know, it's just the metric of inspiration to, you know, go, like, you know, fall in line with that. But, you know, people feel complacent, or at least, you know, like, they can't get much better than that. And it's like, what? It's like, yeah, we can. You actually just have to have the fuck you gumption to feel that way. Well, not just feel that way, but actually, go out of the way to try to do something about it. Because shit, you don't know if it is going to work unless you fucking try. For one. And for two, I mean, it doesn't, happen overnight either. It takes a while. I mean, shit, like, when it came to a lot of different, movements in this country, when it came to women's suffrage, labor advocacy during the Gilded Age, and even before then, like the Civil Rights Movement, desegregation, like, all these things, didn't just happen within a day. This shit happened sometimes within months or even years. It took, like, literal years for some of this, sometimes even a decade or so for this type of shit to get pushed. Like, I mean, sometimes, like, these things are, if anything, kind of multi-generational, where there's, like, where there's major waves for, like, a good few years or, like, a decade, and then goes down for a little bit, and then goes back up. Like, I mean, there's just literally, like, waves of shit like this, and it's just consistent, because it's a non-stop type of fucking fight. It's not something you see, the major ultimate victory of, like, just immediately, or, like, within, like, one major push. Because if that's the case, then the shit like the Civil Rights Act would have been, like, the codification of a lot more than what it was, right? But it ain't, so it's like, we gotta do more than just that shit. You're ridiculous, you know that, dog? Goofy little dog. Anyway. Let's see what my girlfriend thinks are for new snack. Got like tying to my little goatins and rantins. Oh my god, I already found something, like, pretty much immediately. And it's not even that old, it's, 54 minutes ago uploaded. That's some fresh. That is some fresh shit right there. I like that. Of course, is Attack on Titan Psycho Bitch. Angrily tells mom who adopted she's not a mom. Oh my god. Like, when you're so unhinged, like, when you're in the far right, to the point you're just, like, gonna, like, go that route with things, I mean, you're not winning hearts and minds at all. Like, you're going to, you're probably even bleeding your own base doing that. Like, straight up. Like, I bet even people that would probably even still support her will be like, alright, she was kind of wrong with that. Like, what? I'm pretty sure by, like, I think just literally, if you have, like, an adopted child, that makes you a parent. It doesn't have to be a biological kid to make you a fucking parent, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, dude, like, you can't, oh my god, these people are insane. And I'm here for it. Get more crazy, you freaks. Like, I mean, make it so people are just like, wow, okay. Like, definitely not gonna, support those people. I guess there's, like, the silver lining to, at least we're not that guy, because it's that. It's like, ugh. But, I mean, that ain't an excuse to just not do shit. That's where my, issue with the whole complacency comes from. It's just like, it's, just because, like, Democrats aren't that, it doesn't make it, them any better with anything. Right here, what? We gotta look at this though, because this shit just looks wild. How in the fuck does her hair look like it morphed with the chair? Like, what is going on right there? Like, what the fuck?
Are you a am a mother by marriage.
By marriage, I see.
I see.
My wife...
It's by marriage. I see, huh? Wait, hold on. We haven't even gotten anywhere close to even getting into the juice of this. Like, and I already got, like, what? Hold on. By marriage, I see your mother by marriage. Okay, so that... Wait, why is that a problem? Why is that a problem, Marjorie? Aren't you, like, the party and the fucking ideology that's all about, like, the sanctity of marriage and all this shit? Like, why... Wait, it's like... I see. What was that little quip? Fucking bitch.
...with me, so... I'm really glad that she's here, Rabbi Sharon Klein.
Miss Weingarten, I reclaim my time. I didn't ask you a question. Sorry. What I'd like to talk about is your recommendations to the CDC as not a medical doctor, not a biological mother, and really not a teacher.
Not a biological mother. Does that mean anything? I guess to these weird Christo-fascists it does, because, oh, she didn't use her eggs to bring off, the God's children forth. She's basically, took someone else's. It's just like, oh my god, fuck off, bitch. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, not only, so you can't just simply be a mom. You have to, be a biological mom, for their logic to be okay and sound. It's like, no, you can't adopt children. Wait, hold on a second, because, I grew up with a lot of, around different, varieties of evangelical Christians and shit. My mom's fairly moderate, but she had friends who were not, and family members who aren't. And, none of them fucking, harp on adoption. In fact, one of my mom's, Christian evangelical, friends and shit, you fucking adopted a child before. So, how in the fuck does this make sense? I mean, if anything, a lot of these type of fucking evangelical, Christian fucks and shit, are all about, adopting kids. I mean, not that, it's necessarily, the greatest virtue of them ever doing or anything, but, I mean, hey, at least the kids are being adopted, but chances are they're not going to the greatest of households, but either way.
You had no business advising the CDC what the medical guidelines were for school closures, because now we have a nation of school children who have suffered because of it.
I'm pretty sure they've suffered more because of, the book bannings and... forcing teachers to abide by abhorrent, pseudoscience bullshit and shit. I'm pretty sure it's that, not this. You realize that there were ways to at least still, have kids get their education throughout the pandemic, right? I mean, it was at least better than nothing, with those Zoom calls and shit. I mean, all intents and purposes, but, I mean, they at least were still getting it. To an extent. I mean, still, shit.
People like you need to admit that you're just a political activist, not a teacher.
What makes you then? What does that make you then, bitch? What?
I'm a mother and not a medical doctor.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make note that the decorum of the attacks on the witness were unacceptable that the gentlelady from Georgia just did.
Oh my god, every time these, committees, where Marjorie happens to be in, this always happens. Does this always happen? The last time she was on one, she literally had, her shit, forcibly retracted and shit. And now in this one, she's like, alright, this is uncalled for. This is, ridiculous attacks and shit. Dude, she's always getting in trouble, dude, and I fucking love it. Oh my, dude, man, can they just, expel her or something already and just, have her go on a conniption fit? Because that'd just be great.
The witnesses, particularly and making a decision about whether or not she's a mother. You are a mother. Thank you for being a great parent. Thank you.
Oh my god, okay, shut up, bro. So, what was that? It's thank you for being, okay, now you're doing your own virtue signal, bro. I mean, is she a great parent? Probably, I don't know, I don't care. But whatever, I mean, she's a parent, though, yeah. I mean, my goodness.
Point of order is recognized, Mr. Garcia.
Oh, man, oh, god, that was some gold.
Last week, Marjorie Taylor Greene got in trouble for insulting a witness at a committee hearing, and this week she chose to do the exact same thing again. She just never learns. Now, the woman who she was berating there was Randy Weingarten, the president of the second largest teachers union in America, and Marjorie Taylor Greene was...
Oh, so she's a part of, like, so she's head of one of the teachers unions. It's like, okay, well, alright, that even makes her better, because I didn't know who she really was, but okay, well, that makes her base. So she probably is a good parent, actually. She's instilling union values into her kids. Good. It's based.
Bashing her because she dared to recommend virtual learning in an effort to save lives during a global...
Oh, yeah, wait, so the thing I was talking about from earlier, it's like, it was better than nothing. Like, yeah, the virtual, like, Zoom call learning and shit, yeah, like... I mean, it was really, frankly, the best alternative given the circumstances. It wasn't, like, you know, the greatest ever, but, like, what the fuck can you do, you know? It's, like, got a pandemic going on. Like, I mean, anyone else got better ideas, you know? It's like, Jesus.
Pandemic that ended up killing more than 1 million Americans. But we'll find out why Marjorie Taylor Greene specifically thinks that virtual learning is so bad in a moment here. But first, I have to address this claim that step-parents are somehow not real parents. Not only is Randy Weingarten a parent by marriage, but she also adopted her wife's children. But because she's not a biological mother, she's not a real parent, according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and thus, she has absolutely no business making recommendations about children. That should be left up to the real parents, according to Mark.
Frankly, honestly, like, I'd rather trust somebody, you know, that, you know, is a teacher or, like, a doctor or anything like that versus a fucking parent when it comes to making decisions for children and shit. It's not like, you know, entirely dogging parents, but this whole idea that, like, you know, like, parents just by objective virtue know what's best for the kid. Not always. And people like Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of prove that, because, like, I'm supposed to think that she knows what's best for, you know, kids and shit. It's like, no, Marjorie does not know what the fuck is good for children at all. She's a detriment to kids. And, you know, so this idea that, like, you know, people like her are, like, somehow just, like, by some virtue of them having a child just makes them knowing what's best for their own kid. No, not necessarily.
Taylor Greene. And to make this insinuation is just so...
I mean, that doesn't mean that there aren't good parents out there and shit. Of course there are. But, like, I mean, that doesn't mean that parents can't be bad. Because there's also plenty of them.
Because...
And plenty that are a little mixture of both, like, you know, that are good in a lot of ways, but, you know, or, you know, kind of flaw in others. Like, in fact, most parents are probably in that middle ground spectrum and shit.
She's speaking about millions of Americans on both sides of the political aisle. According to Pew Research, 42% of Americans have a step relative. That can be a step sibling, a step parent, or a step child. And furthermore, this is...
I mean, yeah, if anything, technically for me, like, for both of my siblings, they're technically step-siblings. They're only biological based off of, like, one parent for each of them. Like, my sister for my dad's side and for my brother on my mom's side. I mean, but I don't really necessarily see them as, like, step-siblings by any nature. I still see them as just my regular biological siblings, because they still are. Just not total biological, but who cares? You know, they're still my siblings, you know.
Liberal phenomenon, because as...
And honestly, because, like, when it comes to shit like this, like, I don't know why it matters. Because, like, these weird Christo-fascist types are the ones who want to make this a big fucking deal. And want to make this, like, some big, you know, hoopla that, like, uh-oh, these children, their fucking, like, you know, livelihoods growing up and shit. It's like, if you really want to make shit like that better, then let's look at different things like socioeconomic conditions. Like, are there, like, after-school activities? Are there, like, you know, parks in the community, you know, or just some various different shit like that? Like, how's their, you know, how are they being treated at home? You know, all these other, you know, factors. Like, it ain't just, you know, simply of, like, you know, just some random shit like, uh-oh, are, you know, they from a biological, you know, parents, or are they from a single home, or this and that and shit? Because, like, those aren't that fucking relevant. I mean, maybe the single home thing a little bit, mostly just due to income factors, in my opinion. But either way, it's just like, I mean, these other factors that they want to fucking, you know, make a big deal are not relevant, really, when it comes to, like, you know, child raising. Especially when it comes to, like, oh, are they learning, you know, about the gay? It's like, yeah, so what if they are? It's like, if they have a basic concept of, like, uh-oh, homosexuality exists, then who cares? I kind of had a basic understanding about that before I even got full-on sex ed and shit. I never really understood the total concept of it, but yeah, I knew there was, like, people, you know, that, you know, who are like boys that like boys and girls that like girls or shit, you know, I knew that was a thing. I didn't think anything of it because I didn't give a fuck.
points out.
Because I'm a kid. I'm more about wanting to play a video game or play with Legos or something. That's my interest when I'm a child, you know? Like, I don't care about, like, if a boy likes a boy, if a girl likes a girl or some shit. I don't give a shit.
Coney Barrett is also an adoptive parent, but according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, that doesn't make her a real mother. It's just messed up. I mean, families come in all shapes and sizes. So to insult millions of families for no apparent reason, I mean, it's just so very on brand for Marjorie Taylor Greene. But there's a specific reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene was so mad at Randy Weingarten's support for distance learning during the pandemic. And she claims that the reason why there are so many trans people, trans kids specifically now, is because of distance learning. I'm not joking. She actually...
Huh? Wait, what? How's that even make sense? Zukov, shut up! like, how, okay, so how does this even make sense? This is, so that means that the kid will be at home, right? That means that their parents would be there, likely, right? So, would that mean that they, by proxy, if they're with their parents, if their parents are, like, Christian, abhorrent citizens and blah, 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 whatever the fuck, you know, like, wouldn't that mean that they're less likely to be exposed to that type of stuff? While at school, they would more likely be like that by their logic? I mean, that don't even make no fucking sense. Like, huh, what? How's that, what? Oh my god. I know they don't have any logic, but holy shit. Zukov! Get over here! Hey! Zukov! I'm seriously getting sick of this, dude. Come on! Hey! Hey! Zukov! Get over here! Sit! Knock it off, dude. Holy shit. You don't have to bark at every little fucking noise out there, bro. Man. You don't gotta do that. Not everything's a random little thing you gotta hunt or fucking freak out about. Like, ugh. Damn it.
Sit here. That distance learning during a pandemic led to a mass transing of the kids. Let's listen.
Anxiety, depression, all kinds of problems happening to kids. And then ironically, here's something that was shocking to me, and I'll bring this up to you. You know what else happened? While kids were forced to stay home, and you approve of this, the diagnosis of youths with gender dysphoria surged. This
oh my god, she's just pulling up some random graph.
Literally 2020, but yet this is 2021.
Wow, correlation does not equal causation. Have you ever heard of that, bitch? And also, could it be due to the fact that, like, you know, trans acceptance is starting to, you know, be a lot more normalized and a lot more okay, and thus, you know, there's more of a surge of people feeling like they can come out? And also, just because they're at home more and probably, you know, with their little online clique of friends and shit like that instead, you know, at that point, they probably feel like, you know, there's a little bit more of, you know, space, you know, to where they feel more comfortable coming out instead of somewhere like school where they might get bullied by other kids that obviously aren't their friends and shit. You know, so it's just like, I mean, you know, this is not like, you know, it's a correlation, you know, equals causation here. I mean, there are variables that might, you know, play a role as to why that is the case, but, you know, the pandemic didn't inherently start that. You know, it's like the whole trans acceptance thing, which even with this logic alone, you can already see it's been, like, bumping up significantly, you know, for over the years. It's just due to other variables that cause an increase, but that doesn't mean that, like, oh, because of virtual learning, that means that this is the causation of such. No, the fuck it isn't. That's just absurd. There's probably other variables from the pandemic that played a role to that, but it wasn't virtual learning. They weren't that, bitch.
And this is a problem. This is a major problem. And the direct effect of
why?
Closures.
What? It's a major problem. It's all this Fedora thing. It's like, why? You're the one making it a problem. No one cares. If anything, it's kind of good that, you know, that surge happens because, like, kids being able to feel comfortable with themselves and feeling secure about, like, who they are and feeling happy, you know, about, like, you know, being able to be accepted for who they are and shit is a good thing. Like, gee, what a horrible concept, you know, for a kid to be happy about who they fucking are. Like, oh my god, Lord fuck forbid.
Seen here. These are diagnoses of gender dysphoria.
Can you even say that right? A diagnosis is what? Oh my god, she doesn't even know basic literature. You mean diagnoses? Not diagnoses? Oh my god! She hurts my brain, man. Oh.
You can see it sharply increased after 20, and 21. It went up. The rates went up.
Yeah, guess what? Again, correlation don't equal causation. Oh my god, never mind. My brain's fuck about to have an aneurysm.
Stay home into so-called virtual learning, where they were spending a lot of time on social media, and all of a sudden we see a direct result.
Where they're at home, where their parents have more direct access to potentially be observing those things, by your logic too, with this lady. Like, are you, like, how's, like, are you also going to say that just parents are just, like, you know, blithely being stupid and not paying attention to what their kids are looking at, which I kind of partly agree, but not for this fucking reason. You know, it's just like, I mean, I think, you know, in a sense, there are probably parents that just don't give a shit about what their kids are looking at on the internet, but it's not because, they might be exposed to the gay and trans stuff. I don't care if they're exposed to that. You know, it's more about, like, you know, yeah, like, are they looking at some, you know, more adult stuff when they probably shouldn't be? Are they, like, you know, just, you know, like, it's being exposed to stuff online that they legitimately shouldn't be and stuff. Like, there's some elements about, like, yeah, parents should probably be, you know, observing what their kids are looking at online for sure. But it's not over fucking, like, you know, being exposed to LGBT shit or, you know, chit-chat with their friends on, like, some gaming Discord or some shit. I don't give a fuck if, you know, like, you know, kids are in that shit. It's whatever. Like, if they want to send some memes on their little Discord group chat or some shit, let them send some memes. Like, who cares? It's more about, like, are they, like, going on the hub or some shit, you know, or, you know, something else, you know, that could be pretty drastic and not good.
And this is a major problem. But the other problem is you had no business.
Oh my god, these notifications drive me nuts.
advising the CDC what the medical guidelines were for school closures. Because now we have a nation of school children who have suffered because of it.
I don't know about you, but I am thoroughly convinced. Now, there's a lot to say about that. First of all, Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of these imbeciles who also screeches.
And also can break your brain. Because I feel like my brain got pretty significantly broke there for a second.
The rise in trans people due specifically to social contagion, meaning it's a fad and kids see that other kids are trans and they want to be trans too to be part of the cool kids club. But claiming that there's a rise in gender dysphoria diagnosis because of school closures is kind of antithetical to that claim, is it not?
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it a fad that kids are latching onto when they see their friends do it? Or is the lack of socialization causing them to transition because they're bored and they're not with their friends? So they're thinking, I think I'll transition tomorrow. I mean...
I mean, you know, in their mind, basically, it's essentially yes. Like, it's just both. Like, I mean, it's like, oh, they catch the fad and the seeds get planted when they're in school, and because it's virtual learning where they're more exposed to social media where it's everywhere, the propaganda is all over the place there, you know, then they just, you know, it solidifies, then, you know, it grows from there, and then they're like, you know, at virtual learning and at home, and they're like, yep, doing it, you know, just out of nowhere. So if it wasn't, you know, their friends, it was gonna happen anyway, because social media. It's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, they're that fucking paranoid and shit. It's like, you know, that fucking The Office meme where you got, like, you know, the dude who has, like, the literally, like, every fucking, like, little web connected to, like, every little picture and shit. Just like, see, it's all according to plan, man.
The answer is actually very simple. As more people come out and being trans becomes more accepted and normalized in American society, more people who are already trans and non-binary will come out. Because between the 1910s and 1940s, there was a sharp increase in left-handed people after it was no longer a social taboo to use your left hand. But eventually, that line leveled out, and the true number of actual lefties was revealed. And that
ain't like me. Because I'm one of those people that writes with my left hand. And man, I'm so glad I didn't live in those times where it's like, you're not allowed to because you're of the devil. Like, God, that would have been, I mean, honestly, there were still some pushes at that, even in, like, the 80s and 90s and shit. Luckily, I just grew up hearing about it and never was actually an enforced thing. It was, I kind of remember in, like preschool-ish, like, kindergarten, maybe first grade, like, it was encouraged to do it, but they never enforced it. It was like, oh, it's encouraged, this is how you write with your right hand, blah, 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 but I just never was comfortable with it, so I did it with my other hand, and it was just way more comfortable, so I just went with that, and they're like, oh, okay, so they didn't enforce it. It was just like, it was basically just kind of like, oh, here's kind of the standard writing style, and hey, if you're a lefty, okay, oh well. It's like, I mean, they weren't gonna, like, try to, like, beat you with a ruler because you're of the devil or some shit and being possessed or whatever the fuck.
Same exact phenomenon.
In fact, none of that was there either. It was just like, well, okay, I guess you're a left-handed writer, I guess. That was literally as far as it ever went.
Happening right now, albeit with LGBTQ plus people. But I don't want to suggest that Marjorie Taylor Greene can be persuaded by empiricism or data or peer-reviewed studies, because that's impossible. She is a deeply unserious political hack, and the remaining working brain cells that she has left are being used to constantly remind her to breathe so she doesn't forget to. And
hey, I wonder what we could be used, to maybe have those few neurons, just misfire a little bit so she forgets to breathe.
Suffocate. So
in Minecraft, of course.
She's not capable of learning or absorbing any new information like normal people, but as she continues to insult millions of Americans for absolutely no reason, people who would otherwise agree with her, because there are Republican families who also have relatives too, she's just doing herself a disservice. So,
along with the rest of the far right, because she's like one of the main faces, to a lot of this whole Christian far right movement that's, being perpetuated, especially with this whole like trans-government agenda and whatever the fuck, blah blah blah. Like, she's like one of the main faces of it. And especially in the last couple weeks, the fact that she keeps doing this type of behavior over and over and over again, and obviously is not looking to back down anytime soon. Like, I mean, it just kind of shows how unhinged they are. And even to, like, more moderate Republican types that even ostensibly would have agreed for, for the most part, will get turned off to this type of shit. Like, I guarantee you that if I were to, like, it's not that I ever talk to them, but, like, if I were to talk to, like, some of my mom's friends that adopted children who are, maybe not as far right extreme, but, pretty Christian evangelical like she is, I bet they would be like, oh, well, that's just not right. Because, like, I'm a mother too, even though I, had adopted children, blah, 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 blah. It's like, because, yeah, they were, and they are. Just because they weren't biological don't make them no less of a mom. It's just like, Jesus Christ.
Fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene, because you're just making yourself less popular, and you're doing...
And broadly, the far right less popular, which I would say is a good thing. But, I would also argue that that means being more on the aggressive push about this, and, at least try to argue more for an alternative instead of just, hey, at least there aren't those guys, shit is what needs to happen, as, like, a part of this. Like, it can't just be like, yay, they're in fight with each other and they're looking like more unhinged by the day and less people supporting them. It can't just go as far as that and just full stop. Because, that, and to me, instills a lot of complacency, and the system could currently not, like, good enough to just be complacent with how, like, good it is, because it isn't.
Great.
I mean, this element of it, not being a fundamental mainstream influence, would definitely be a start, but, I mean, there's plenty of things economically that still need to be tackled.
So, keep it up.
Were you acting about...
Oh, well, pretty much already ended the video there, but... Well, yeah, Marjorie's is just a psycho bitch. As per usual. Ah, Dios mío. Gotta love it. Well, God love to hate it, especially. But, I keep seeing these things about, like, Illuminati getting, like, quote-unquote, fucking canceled or called out for some shit. Like, what in the Like, I, watched some of her content and shit. She actually did a really good video calling out Asperger Speaks and shit like that, but I literally don't know what it's all about, but... There's like a little leftist mafia thing, and I know she is a co-host because even in the thumbnail, she's literally right there on the top left corner. So, I'm honestly kind of curious if they talk about that. Maybe I can see, like, what the fuck is this all about? I know it has to do something about, like, a lawyer. Like, I guess, like, she called out a lawyer about something. And it was about, like, something about like, you know, video editing or some shit. It's something like that. I don't fucking know, but apparently it's kind of like on a little bit of a sideline thing where, at least, you know, for some of the people I watch, you know, it's kind of making around. So I'm just like, I wonder what the hell this is about. And do I care enough to really get that invested into it? Enough to be at least curious, to get like a surface glance idea about what it is, but I say. There. Let's see what other random things are going downhill. Oh shit. There's like more info about Tucker being fired now. What, is there actually like details about this? Let's see. What comes out about Tucker's firing from Fox News, including the connection to Murdoch's ex-fiance? What? Wait, hold up. What? Wait, oh, ooh, that the plot just thickened. Oh shit. Whoa. Well, what's going on here, Tucker? I'm gonna make a quick little baby prediction. Is it like a sex scandal? Was Tucker caught, like, you know, doing a little something with the ex-fiance here? Because that would honestly be kind of fucking hilarious. Oh my god. Oh man, that'd be great. Here, I gotta blow my nose real quick. Endless black voids. All the voids, gotta love it. There we go.
There is now more that is coming out about Tucker Carlson's firing from Fox News.
It's kind of a longer video here. I'll just for the sake of speed, we'll do. Bop, there we go.
Some of this stuff is very interesting, to the point where this may have been simply a personal decision on a whim based on a single event that happened. So I'm going to show you all of the speculation, all of what's coming out right now.
Ooh.
And ultimately, the reason why this is making a lot of news and why this is so important is because Tucker has, or had, a massive audience, the #1 cable news host in existence, regardless of network. And like, deciding to fire that guy is a great decision by Fox News, but one that may have not been the greatest business decision if this is the reason why they fired him, as opposed to them being worried about some other lawsuits that are coming down. But I'll get to all that. So there really has been very little discussion about this on Fox News, which I guess is to be expected. Sean Hannity basically said, we're not talking about Tucker. I don't have any details on it. I'm sure he knows a lot. But.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Oh yeah, Sean Hannity not knowing anything about that bullshit. Dude, that guy is such a little gossip worm, dude. Like, he's always finding himself, like, knowing random shit. Like, I swear, he has people, like, hired just dedicated to, like, you know, being snoops and just being, like, his little ears, dude. Like, I mean, this dude, like, that guy not knowing shit, bullshit.
But in contrast to that, Geraldo Rivera, also a Fox News contributor, did come out to say this: I don't wish ill on anybody, but there is no doubt, as I said at the time, Tucker Carlson's perverse Jan 6 conspiracy theory was BS. Having lost the election, President Trump incited an insurrection that sought to undermine our constitutional process.
Broken clock right twice a day, Rivera. You're nothing special.
This isn't necessarily just a Tucker issue. There were a lot of hosts on air, even up to recently, pushing this garbage. So, whatever. This is
And I kind of find funny that despite that, there's still a lot of animosity, at least within Fox's, just directed towards Tucker. Just, you know, despite all this, even though he's not the only fucking one that's been doing this shit. He just happens to be, like, the most popular voice out of all of them.
Fine criticism, but...
There's probably why.
Fox, Geraldo's employer. Now, let's get to some of the speculation, all right? So, initially, I mentioned this in my first video, how this firing, or this parting of ways, happened just days after the settlement in the Dominion lawsuit, where Fox News agreed to pay $787.5 million in the defamation suit. That was, of course, around the voting machines. Fox is pretending, at least some of the hosts on there pretending, their guests pretending, that the machine somehow flipped the results of the election. Obviously, complete BS. But Fox News agreed to pay that. So the idea at the time was, well, maybe that was part of the settlement, was we'll agree to the settlement, but also you got to fire Tucker Carlson. That, of course, is still a possibility, but there's more coming out now. Tucker, here's one of the things that came out.
mean, knowing that, some little surface level glances of this, a little bit of extra detail, I don't think so. I don't really think, firing or like, dealing with, any of the hosts on the show or on the platform was really, part of the settlement. It was probably just merely pain. Which, it was kind of bullshit. I kind of wish they decided to fight it just, so they can kind of crash and burn more and, just because that just would have been great.
Carlson privately called a senior Fox News exec the C-word and wanted the world to know. This
Want the world to know? Yeah, this, private executive here at Fox News, she's a cunt. I want the world to know, damn it.
very weird.
What?
It turns out that
I mean, like, okay.
Carlson frequently...
I mean, damn, alright.
Not the part that's using the word, but the next part that comes after. It turns out that Carlson frequently used the C-word to describe women he did not care for. This is not at all surprising. Emails and texts found in Discovery revealed that he referred to lead election denier Sidney Powell in this manner. Former booker Abby Grossberg, who we'll get to more on in a bit, now suing the networks, has made similar allegations. The word has bandied about at Tucker Carlson Tonight offices. This part is very weird, though. To be clear, according to the reporting of a Murdoch-owned outlet, Carlson was unhappy that his use of the C-word against a senior executive was redacted from court filings, even though he had told Dominion lawyers he was deeply embarrassed those words had come to light.
Oh, you're so embarrassed, but yet you want the world to know.
He was unhappy that they redacted that from what was going to be released publicly. He wanted it out there that he used the C-word against a senior executive. Now, the reason why I think, not knowing,
oh my God,
the reason why I think he wanted that to be out there is because it would give more credibility to the idea that Carlson is anti-elite. Here he is.
And I guess being more populist and like, oh, he's kind of like a raunchy, average man type of guy or some shit, which literally, no, he's not. He's pretty much like the pinnacle of an elite propagandist mouthpiece.
Elites, call him the C-word. When, of course, Carlson's an elite. He's not anti-elite. But he wants to give that idea, that impression out there that, oh, he hates these elites. He's going to speak truth to power. So I think that's why he wanted that to be in there. But it also may be part of a lawsuit, or is part of a lawsuit that came down, a different one. So Fox News producer, who I just mentioned, Abby Grossberg, claims Fox lawyers intimidated her before Dominion deposition. So there's two parts to this lawsuit that also may have played a part in Tucker getting fired. So there's the part where the lawyers intimidated her to give a different story than she wanted to give. So kind of coached her to protect the hosts at the network, protect the executives at the network, and really put herself at risk.
Man, it's just like Fox News, intimidating and treating women poorly, at their organization. Oh, wow, that's nothing new under the sun. Not at all.
In the deposition. But the second half of that,
brand new,
is also alleging discrimination and harassment. So this is something. Something else.
Also, all that type of behavior has literally just been like the norm, especially ever since Roger Ailes has been there. Like, I mean, this shit right here is pretty much literally nothing new from Fox News here.
There were images of former U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in a plunging bathing suit, revealing her cleavage.
Ew.
Around the Manhattan workplace.
What the fuck? Why would they have that? Manhattan workplace of Tucker Carlson. Why in the fuck would they have that? Why? What the fuck? Ew. That's just gross. Like, why would they have a picture of Nancy Pelosi with that? Just with her in general, but especially that? What the fuck? That's just what?
Carlson Tonight. The lawsuit also states that staffers were polled on 2 separate occasions on which of 2 female candidates for Michigan governor they would rather have sex with. Grossberg told the Times on Monday that the culture of Fox News is one that doesn't respect or value women. None of this is surprising at all. In fact, I believe, I may be able to find this image and put it in here if it is the case, but I believe Tucker even used that image
oh my God.
In one of his stories.
Oh no. Oh no.
So, not really surprising to see the attitude there towards women, the sexist nature of that office. But this is the story that may have actually led to his firing. And this is just wild to me. So Tucker Carlson's
Prayer talk?
may have led to Fox News ouster. So let me
Prayer
give you the
talk?
full picture here, all right? So this is the new theory, as Vanity Fair writes. According to the source, Fox's Rupert Murdoch removed Carlson over remarks Carlson made during a speech at the Heritage Foundation's 50th anniversary gala on Friday night. So keep in mind, Tucker was just fired. This means if he was there Friday night, then giving a speech, then they had no plans at that time to fire him. The firing either came later that night or over the weekend or Monday morning.
Ooh.
So it was sort of a rash decision.
Yeah, it literally was just like kind of out of nowhere, like a weekend, like made quick decision, huh? Like, so it definitely wasn't over the, settlement and shit, for sure.
Part of the lawsuit, or part of the settlement in the Dominion lawsuit, I would be surprised that, like, why would Carlson then be at the speech at this gala? So I think it may have more to do with what happened here and the connecting story with this. So Carlson laced his speech with religious overtones that even Murdoch found too extreme, the source said, who was briefed on Murdoch's decision-making. Carlson told the Heritage audience that national politics has become a Manichaean battle between good and evil. Carlson said that people advocating for transgender rights and diversity, equity, and inclusion programs want to destroy America, and they could not be persuaded with facts. Quote, "We should say that and stop engaging in these totally fraudulent debates. I've tried. That doesn't work," he said. The answer, Carlson suggested, was prayer. Quote, "I have concluded it might be worth taking just 10 minutes out of your busy schedule to say a prayer for the future, and I hope you will." That stuff freaks Rupert out. He doesn't like all the spiritual talk, the source said.
He doesn't like all the spiritual talk, oh my god. Oh man, so wait, does that mean that Rupert Murdoch is probably just not a religious dude at all? Does that mean he's like either agnostic or just even an atheist probably? Well, not an atheist. I'd probably say agnostic and just does not give a fuck. Like his god that he worships is mammon. It's money. But oh my god, I love it. But what I find disturbing is that Tucker Carlson is basically making the equivalent of like some 1930s like Nazi-esque fucking speech about like the Jews, but instead it's fucking trans people. Ugh. Like, I mean, this basically, at least in my mind, especially kind of confirms that this fucker is, kind of a white supremacist Nazi fuck, and, I never will retract it the times I've ever called him that.
So
I'll just enforce it and double down with it.
I find just this alone to be kind of surprising. The spiritual talk freaks Rupert Murdoch out. Have you watched your network? To any of the Republican politicians out there? This is inherent to the party. But apparently Tucker took it too far, supposedly. And
it makes me wonder what else he said in this speech, because those are only a few snippets. So I'm generally wondering, like, I feel like there's more to it than just that. I mean, man, this is making me wonder now, huh?
Necessarily think that this speech was the issue. I think the next thing here is, if this story is true, this is what likely would have pushed him over the edge to fire Carlson. So Murdoch was perhaps unnerved by Carlson's messianism, because it echoed the end times worldview of Murdoch's ex-fiancée, Anne Leslie Smith, the source said. In my May cover story, I reported that Murdoch and Smith called off their 2-week engagement because Smith had told people Carlson was a messenger from God.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't like a sex scandal like I thought. It's like his ex-fiancée, like he broke up and called off the marriage and everything with his ex-fiancée because she literally thinks Tucker Carlson's a fucking prophet. Oh my god, dude, there's like some weird cult shit surrounding Tucker Carlson, man. Dude, is there like some weird like pseudo cult is there like a cult in the making of Tucker, dude? Like, I'm starting to get cult vibes. This is like some cult vibes right here. Like, Tucker Carlson has his own like little proto cult going on here? I mean, it's definitely a cult personality, but now I'm really wondering, is there like some other shit happening here? Like, what the dude, that is weird, dude. That is so weird.
Murdoch had seen Carlson and Smith discuss religion firsthand. In late March, Carlson had...
Oh, wait, they met? Okay, maybe there's a little bit of a sex scandal thing. Okay, you know what? I'm willing to keep that as a plausibility now. Bel Air Vineyard, with Murdoch and... Oh, they were all together, okay. Well, I guess maybe not. Would you? Well, shut up. Evidently you disagree, okay? I get it. Murdoch admitted because this is in late March. Man, so, well, yeah, I'm willing to keep it on the table. I'm willing to keep the sex scandal part on the table. It evidently never came out yet, but, well, I'm willing to, you know, hold the door open for that idea. But, I mean, ooh. There definitely is some weird cult shit vibes going on here, though. This is like some definite cult vibes, or at least like a cult in the making.
At Murdoch's Bel Air Vineyard, with Murdoch and Smith, according to the source, during dinner, Smith pulled out a Bible and started reading passages from the Book of Exodus, the source said. Quote, Rupert just sat there and stared. A few days after dinner...
He just stared, he's like... He's just staring, oh my god.
The wedding. By taking Carlson off the air, Murdoch was also taking away his ex's favorite show. Smith did not respond to a request for comment.
Ooh, I wonder why.
So, possible here. Rupert Murdoch decided to fire Carlson on a whim.
In spite his ex-fiance, which, again, with all things considered, sounds like a cult in the making.
Because of the speech at the gala, the spiritual speech, combined with his hatred for his ex-fiance.
Oh my god, this is
Wanted
great.
to show off here. So they go on here to describe how Murdoch has been making a string of erratic decisions that raise questions about his leadership, at least in terms of people that are around him and people that want.
Does that mean he's going senile? Oh, is old Murdoch going senile? Well, he's making some good decisions unintentionally here and there, so, you know, don't force him to retire quite yet. Not yet. He's still a scumbag piece of utter garbage shit, but I mean, you know, if he's making decisions like this, I mean, you know, let's hold out a little bit. Let's hold out on that just for a second.
This empire do well. So I would, in terms of a business decision, I would categorize this under an erratic decision, unless again it's connected to some other larger worries about the impact on the business when it comes to, say, this lawsuit. Not the Dominion one, the one about the Fox's producer. So.
I mean, I feel like there might be a slight connection, but it definitely is erratic for sure.
We don't know, but just showing you how wacky things are right now, how very succession-like it is right there in the Murdoch empire. Last couple things here, because Tucker has not yet come out to say anything. I'm gonna get to
Carrie Lake. Oh no.
Why? But here is Carrie Lake begging Tucker to break his silence.
I don't know what Tucker's deal is, but I worry that he might still be under contract and they're literally going to be paying him 10, 20, 30 million a year to just sit there and be quiet. We can't afford to have Tucker Carlson's voice silenced for a year and a half. I don't know if Tucker's listening to this, but if he happens to hear it, I beg you, Tucker Carlson, to speak out. The terms of that contract. We need your voice over the next year and a half.
And guess what, Carrie Lake? You know, not shutting the fuck up has literally done nothing but disfavors for you. You literally are just some random obscure voice of nothing.
Country. Yeah. And if you get sued by your former employer, we will help create a defense fund to help you fight that lawsuit. We need your voice. We need every...
Of what? 2 pennies in a Pop-Tart?
American's voice who cares about this country in the next year and a half to save our Constitution and to save our country.
All right, so first off, I would not take any legal advice ever from Carrie Lake. Secondly, though, if Tucker thought that it would benefit him to speak out, he would be doing it. Tucker's all about himself. There's a good reason, likely, as to why he has not yet said anything. And this probably has something to do with it. Fox News reportedly has secret Oppo file on Tucker Carlson in case he tries to, or in case he trashes the network.
Oh my god. Of course they do. Nice. I love it.
So they got some dirt on Tucker, apparently, that I'm sure he does not want
released. Oh my god.
No one knows what that is yet.
Oh, dude. Tucker, just slip up once, and I just hope they unleash. Just all you gotta do is just slip up once, Tucker. That's it. Slip up once so we can see that dirt. Oh my god, I want to see the dirt. Oh my god, I really want to see that Oppo file. Oh my god. Oh man, I bet it's full of gold, dude. There's a full-on gold mine.
I mean, is it simply allegations of sexism from his workplace, which I don't think would damage him at all for his audience?
Nah. I don't really think it's just that, because there already is a little bit of implication of that anyway, and Fox News in general. But I feel like there might be a couple other things. Especially with this weird, like, you know, cult vibe I'm getting, especially with, like, you know, Murdoch's ex-fiancée, Angela Smith, or whatever her name was.
There's a reason why he's not speaking out. I'm sure there's stuff in there that he does not want released. So right now, it is just a pure win. My initial video on Tucker being fired, I speculated that, maybe he's running for president. Maybe
oh my God, what is this?
Somewhere else, go to Rumble, go to Daily Wire, and grift off the idea that he was too hot for Fox News. But he can't really do that if there's this Oppo file on him that he doesn't want released. So he may actually be quiet for a while, at least in terms of once he gets his lawyers in place and figures out what he can and can't say. But I would bet on it's possible, maybe not likely, but it's possible that Tucker simply goes away, just like Bill O'Reilly did when he was fired, or Glenn Beck, who I guess is kind of back, but doesn't have the same power he once had when he was that far.
I mean, Glenn Beck has always been kind of around. He's had like that blaze for a while, but it's just been slowly but surely crumbling. And Bill O'Reilly, like, he's just obscure, enjoying his little falafels. I like to touch a falafel.
News. Megyn Kelly, another example, a massive star at Fox, left, fizzled out. She has a podcast, I think, but no one really pays attention. It's very possible that Tucker is going to be in the same position because ultimately the Fox...
I feel like Tucker would land on his feet. I mean, it's got, like, the Daily Wire, Rumble. I mean, there's a few places where you can, you know, go to and shit. Yeah, so, honestly, I mean, all in all, I mean, he might be, like, one of the few that might be able to at least land on his feet. But, either way. I love how, like, you know, some random little fucking Nazi just wants to, like, come in here and just, like, spam, like, their silly little numeric fucking bullshit. It's like, do you actually have any thing useful? Oh, wait, yeah, just being, you know, a little bit of dirt I can just smear off my boot. Pretty simple. But anyway, gonna go grab my paycheck and go do a few errands and all that shit. Well, the day is still young, so I'll probably be back around for later this evening, so peace out for now, and see y'all in the next one.